This is Just Zach and Spirit Show.
Yeah, and that's sort of the beauty of doing a higher degree by research to begin with. Like if you're doing a master's, you get 2 years, or if you have a PhD, you have 3, maybe 4 years to really spend that time thinking about that topic. What are the issues with the previous research? How can I address that? I'm going to collect data. I'm going to make sure I analyze it correctly and come out with something quite useful for filling the academic hole, but for also industry as well. There's not really a whole host of other places where you can allocate such a big chunk of time to then answer a bigger question. If you do like a commercial piece of research, it may be a 2-month stint between acceptance and final presentation of it. And that's applying knowledge that's already discovered. But academic research is, spending quite a long time, sometimes a year of reading a bulk of literature, which is a small part of what we know about marketing or any field really. And then spending the next 2 years trying to contribute to it. I mean, I think it's quite a unique and fascinating thing. And has to be a certain type of person though. Like otherwise you get bored of it, you become discouraged or not motivated or something like that. So you have 2 PhD students of your own at the moment that I'm aware of. There may be more. How are you finding being a supervisor and being on the other side of things?
Yeah, I've got 4 PhD students at the moment, all within their first year. One of them is actually an iPhD student. So this is a program we have at Swinburne, which is for people straight out of undergrad. And it's a 4-year program where the first year is honours, the second year is part of is the masters, and then they have the option of going for a PhD confirmation or a master's mid-candidature, and they can exit after the time. And so the idea of that is that it's rather than students doing an honours somewhere on one topic and then having to find a new supervisor and that kind of thing. So one of them's in that program, which is quite interesting. But to answer your question, I'm really enjoying being a supervisor. It's definitely a different experience, but I'm not that long removed from my own PhD that it's nice to, in a way, give back. And I'm trying to be the, so I'm always the most junior supervisor on the team because we're not allowed to be the main supervisor until you've shown that you know what you're doing and got a student successfully through.
Which is fair enough.
I think so too. I would be terrified at having someone else's whole study and career in my hands. And so I'm trying to be the supervisor that's always around and accessible and the one that, is happy to chat through things and almost get it up to the standard that then we show the main supervisor, because I don't want to, you just sort of don't want to, I'm going to say waste the professor's time. It's never a waste, but you don't want them spending their time doing really basic stuff if that's something I can pick up.
Yeah.
And so, it's to everybody's benefit to have the more senior people on the team thinking about the bigger issues than it is, the minute details of questionnaire design or something, for example. I found that really enjoyable. And it's also enjoyable just as a way of seeing, getting new ideas and seeing different takes on topics, areas that I've been working in for a long time, and just seeing with fresh eyes how somebody else sees the big issues in that area. So I've found that really rewarding as a way of getting me excited about the discipline and the topics that it's fair to say when you spend all that time doing a PhD on it, you can get a bit over it by the end.
Yeah.
And it was actually said to me that that's when you're ready to submit. When
someone else's problem now.
Yeah. When you hate your topic, you've spent enough time with it. So it's been nice to have people come in and be doing things that are, not repeats of what I had done, but related in some way. That's how you end up being a supervisor. It helps get you re-excited about, the broad topic areas, which is nice.
Yeah. I have a similar experience to you, I suppose. I think you finished your PhD roughly about a year before me. I finished about March last year.
Yeah, May 2017 I was awarded it.
Yeah. And I've started this supervision role as well. So I've got one PhD student and a couple of masters. One's due to submit in about a week, actually. So I just read her full thesis from start to beginning, which was, really nice to see. To be like, I've invested 2 years of my time and effort into this student, and oh my God, they're actually going to produce something, and this may just pass. Like someone else may find this interesting and worthwhile, and so I'm quite excited about that. But I found my role, because naturally I'm the most junior supervisor on all three of those teams, to be very much the same that you've experienced. I kind of have seen the role as a bit of a filter for the professors, because it's not wasting their time, but if they're thinking about, this table doesn't look very nice, I can't picture the results from this, or this is written so poorly, or like the ideas are good, but the writing's not quite there, someone else should have helped them with academic writing, for example, which is a unique beast, or referencing properly, or structuring their thoughts, like they haven't thought up here, changed to a thought, then revisited that thought, then they can actually contribute to how is this meaningful and how can it fit into the greater scheme of things? Because that's only what you get by being, the professor having, 15, 20, 30 years of experience. And so I completely agree with you that our role really is to, all right, we have a student, they're very new to academic work. Can I filter out what their thoughts are, which generally tend to be pretty good thoughts, and give them to a professor? And so do you find yourself in supervision meetings of your students with the big professors sort of being like, you kind of feel like you're the student again because you're that filter? Yeah,
I explain it to some people as I almost feel like the older sibling, and then we're fronting up to our parents,
Yes.
and I've seen this before. It's almost like the younger sibling's not allowed to date till a certain age, and then the older sibling's gone through it and is sort of like, here's sort of the ways to get through some of these challenges.
I like that analogy. I'm going to steal that one.
Yeah. So it's a bit of that, so it's sort of like I still have that responsibility of being the supervisor, but it's a bit more of I've just gone through this. I know what this is like. I know what you're feeling. Let's get through it together in some ways. And that's quite nice.
Yeah. And also, because we're younger, we don't have the professor title, we're less intimidating to PhD students, for example. So they're more likely to share with us the issues that they're having, the troubles that they're having, and seek those solutions. It would be very intimidating to go to your primary supervisor, for example.
Yeah, 100%. And I think it's useful to have those different kinds of people and the clear roles. Like in any team or any group, it's useful to know what each person's sort of role and what they can contribute best. And I think that's, as the recent graduate, a lot of that can be the support person when and almost a conduit between them and some of your more experienced colleagues.